for some power outages as we head into the Cleveland metro area, because we've got multiple areas under severe thunderstorm warnings that are coming out. Right now, though, the tornadic cell, one of the main areas of rotation that we are seeing, is located just west of Huron, Ohio. It is moving here to the southeast at about 55 miles per hour. Again, located along Highway 6 in Huron, Ohio. That is where we're seeing, again, that rotation at the moment. I'm just kind of looking at location Huron, by the way. Let me just kind of zoom in a little bit tighter of where we're seeing that rotation here. And so you can see Huron right there at the center of your screen. That is where we are seeing, and you can see it here just looking at the reflectivity with this. That is where the rotation is at the moment. Again, located along Highway 6. Again, that is some significant rotation that we're detecting on radar. That is pushing to the southeast at about 60 miles per hour, so that's going to head over to Huron. Eventually, perhaps get close to Vermilion there, if not track just south of Vermilion. And then between Vermilion and Florence, looks to be where that is going to be headed here over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Again, rotation over Huron. That's with that particular tornadic cell. I just want to zoom back out a little bit and where we're seeing the other rotation at the moment. That is near Clyde in the Bellevue area, between Clyde and Bellevue right now. That rotation doesn't look quite as apparent as we saw just a little bit ago, but still the possibility is there for some rotation with that. That's about to move out of that tornado warning area again near the Clyde area in Bellevue. We'll see if an additional warning comes out there. That would push it into Seneca County, or even into Huron County over the next few minutes if a new warning comes out for now. But right now, the most clearest sign of rotation is very close to the Huron area, and that is continuing to push off here to the southeast at 55 miles per hour. So, folks, at that speed, again, I can't express enough at how that decreases that time to take shelter. So don't wait. Go take shelter now if you can. Get away from windows and just get yourself into a safe place here as quickly as you can. Again, that tornado located near Huron there, continuing to track off to the southeast. The National Weather Service did just expand the severe thunderstorm warning. I'm just going to kind of back out so you can see the severe thunderstorm warnings now go all the way down to Mansfield. That's how far out that we are getting these severe thunderstorms, because this is how fast they're moving. So you look at Mansfield and you're thinking, gosh, I don't even, it's very quiet here right now, including over to Ashland, even toward Worcester. In fact, severe thunderstorm warnings are out just now north of Akron. These storms are going to come in fast. They're going to come in fast from the north and move so quickly that we're going to get that warning time to really just shrink very quickly as this line of thunderstorms again continues to push through. So we are now at about 42 minutes here after 11 o'clock. We do expect that tornado warnings are set to expire here in just about 3 minutes. We're going to wait and see what the Weather Service does. We did see rotation. That was reported just about 5 minutes ago near Huron, Ohio, with the warning that was moving from Sandusky into Erie County, near the town of Sandusky, just east of Sandusky now, to see if that warning gets expanded or extended south and east. If it does, it would come into Lorain County and Huron County. Just a heads up, not there yet, but if that warning gets extended, that's where it would be extended to. And so we're going to wait and see if that happens. But again, tornado warnings are out here. That is in right now just into Erie County, as well as parts of Sandusky County, actually into Sandusky County, Erie County as well. Ottawa County has been dropped from that tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm warnings are out in the Cleveland metro area, all the way down through Huron. The reason for that is for the line that is just now coming on shore that we are seeing here just northwest of Cleveland. I'll take this back full screen, and so you can see this line that's approaching here. Just an impressive line here. This is where severe winds are located. Weather Service believing that the winds here likely in excess of 60 miles per hour, perhaps as strong as 70 miles per hour, about to come into Lorain County. Just now actually crossing on shore into Lorain County. Going to head into western Cuyahoga County here shortly, just to kind of give you a little bit closer up to where these are. Again, that's where the line is, just to do a storm track here and get you up to date on the timing of this. as this pushes here again to the southeast. Again, you can see the timing here because of how fast these are moving. You're into the Cleveland area in less than 15 minutes. We're coming into Sheffield Lake in just a couple of minutes, Lorain in about 5 minutes, and then headed over into Cleveland, 13 minutes, Elyria in 14 minutes, the Parma area in 20 minutes, the Solon area in 28 minutes. So that is the information that we are getting now. Also, to pass along, the Weather Service is letting us know that they have seen that rotation that was back in the Huron area weaken enough that they are going to let that tornado warning drop off here in about a minute. So in about a minute, we're going to be without a tornado warning, but we're going to continue here to track this line coming into the Cleveland metro area because of the multiple amounts of severe thunderstorm warnings that we have out, and the fact that we're talking 60 to 70 mile per hour winds that are a possibility with this. But at least for the moment, we're going to see that tornado warning dropping off here in just a few seconds, and we'll just be under severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll have to see. There's the tornado warning dropping off at the moment. You can see where the severe thunderstorm warnings are out, and those will continue here for a bit longer. But again, at least at the moment, the tornado warnings have all expired. We're under multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, including the Cleveland metro area. So let's reset here. 45 minutes after the hour, we are monitoring the cancellation or the expiration of tornado warnings. We have had reports back when this storm was moving near Rocky Ridge, which was back over in parts of Ottawa and Sandusky County, of windows being blown out of homes. It is unclear whether that was produced by a tornado or just straight line wind damage. There was a tornado warning out at the time that happened. I'm just reading some of the other reports that are coming in, some of the other storm reports coming in. One of the other storm reports I have confirming that same thing back in near the Rocky Ridge area along that Sandusky County and Ottawa County line. Now we are monitoring strong winds coming off the lake into the Cleveland metro area. So we're going to follow that closely here over the next little bit as well. Again, these are rapidly approaching. I just want to take you here and show you kind of a live view here. Again, this is our camera courtesy of EarthCam here, looking live at downtown Cleveland as we await this line of thunderstorms. I want you to note at the moment the visibility that we have, and you can see the flashing lightning that we have. Again, this is a live view here at 1146 downtown Cleveland. Again, that shot courtesy of EarthCam as we watch these storms approach, the gusty winds and the lightning already approaching as well. And just to give you the latest information that we have, the National Weather Service does believe that this could produce up to 65 to 70 mile per hour winds coming into the Cleveland metro here over the next few minutes. And that stretches all the way back through Lorain as well. And just want to see if I'm looking back to see if I can find that information that we've got, and just to kind of expand that the warning goes all the way down into Richland County, it's Central Huron County, Ashland County, Crawford County, into Wayne County, all in north central or northeastern Indiana, where we have the potential here for severe winds. In fact, we're getting a new updated severe thunderstorm warning here that's going to include Erie County, Huron County, and southeastern Seneca County for that potential for 60-mile-an-hour winds extending from Wakeman to near Bloomville, that storm moving southeast at 65 miles per hour. Just it's just a very incredible at how fast this line of thunderstorms is moving by. So again, we'll continue to kind of follow that shot there from the Weather Service in Cleveland. But I'll go back here to where these warnings are at the moment, and you can see this line that we're following here. The Weather Service now telling us that they are seeing winds anywhere from 60 to 70 miles per hour or higher showing up on radar, about to come onshore near Avon Lake and Lorain. The wind that they're detecting on radar here is about 500 feet off the ground, so that may allow the wind to be slightly less coming in. I just want to go over, I'm going to try to change over to our velocity mode now, because we will be able to show you that as well. Take a look at this, and you can see where Avon Lake is right now. And I want to show you, I'm going to do kind of an indication here of some of the winds with this. Look at that velocity. Again, that's just offshore, showing up at near 90 miles per hour. Now, keep in mind, we're looking at that a little bit higher up. So when the radar beam's located here, and so as you go out for the radar beam, the Earth kind of curves away a little bit. But so we're detecting this at probably about 500 feet to 1,000 feet up. So the wind is not quite that high down at lake level, at the lake surface. However, there's no friction out over the lake, no trees or buildings or anything like that. So as this wind, which is likely around 80 miles per hour, 70 plus, comes on shore, that's just going to slam on to Lorain and Avon Lake here in just a matter of minutes. So the Weather Service is saying Bay Village to Rocky River to Lakewood, you need to be ready. This is coming. Get away from windows now. We're seeing, in fact, just looking at some of the other winds back to the west, we just had a 50-mile-an-hour wind back in the Huron area. That's where we had that tornado warning just a moment ago. But again, you continue to see these winds here that are showing up just offshore. That's where this dark blue is. See Avon Lake. There's the lake shore right there. Again, the radar site located here. So we're not looking too far away. So that means the radar is looking lower into the storm here. So these winds are very intense coming just off the lake. By the way, you can see that we do have the initial gust front that has arrived onshore in Avon Lake with the initial, those winds probably there about 40 to 50 miles per hour. See if I can take a look at that here as well to kind of get you an update on what the winds are located there. Let's see if I can get that to update. Yeah, looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds. That just came on shore. The winds just offshore are higher than that. So again, right around Avon Lake, the wind being detected by radar, again, a couple hundred feet up, about 64 miles per hour at the moment, and that's continuing to come on shore. So again, Avon Lake, Lorain, Bay Village, Rocky River, Lakewood, be prepared now. You're going to have 60 to 70 plus mile per hour winds coming on shore here in just a matter of moments as this whole line continues here to push off to the southeast. This is all coming this way. And so that's going to continue to spread here toward the Cleveland metro area here over the next few minutes. So again, very intense winds that we're detecting on radar coming on shore here. That's why severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect here in northeastern Ohio. So again, we're monitoring multiple hazards here. I just want to kind of go back here to our a camera that we were looking at from downtown Cleveland as we watch this line of thunderstorms come on shore now. Again, the potential here is going to be over the next few minutes for the wind to really ramp up here in the Cleveland metro area as this line of thunderstorms races off here to the southeast. So again, let's look live. Remember what our visibility looks like here as this wind is just about to come on shore. Now, we're looking from Lakewood toward downtown. So if anything, the wind is going to come from where the camera is at the moment and then come onshore from there. So we may see conditions deteriorate here in just a matter of moments from where the camera is and then move toward the city here over the next few minutes. Just want to go back to some other information that we are also getting in. National Weather Service now telling us that severe thunderstorm warnings have now been extended all the way to Ashtabula County, Geauga County, and Lake County. So taking us into the Snowbelt counties now under severe thunderstorm warnings here for the next little bit as we monitor this continuing line. And just by the way, we do have the severe thunderstorm watch, which is out here until 3 o'clock in the morning and goes all the way down to just the Mansfield area, actually comes down all the way to Marion into Morrow County. And so this line of thunderstorms is expected to move southeast. If you're watching from Columbus, it's going to be a close call whether these storms make it into Columbus. It is likely that these storms are going to go over toward Zanesville and points east. If you're watching tonight from Dayton and Cincinnati, you'll likely see this line stay off to your northeast. We can't rule out some rain trying to back build, but at least at the moment, that main line, as you take a look at this radar sweep, the radar loop, the main line is kind of centered over to north central and northeastern Ohio at the moment. We do expect that it's going to continue to push east-southeast from there, but this, unlike what we saw last night where this line just continued to just develop back westward, we're not seeing that happen at the moment. With this line, we do see some thunderstorms that you can see just north of Fort Wayne there that we're monitoring. But at this point, we don't see any significant threat coming in toward the Columbus itself, Columbus City. Again, if you're east side of Columbus, we're going to have to pay a little bit closer attention to that. Again, this line coming onshore now here in northeastern Ohio, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings from Ashtabula down through Lake Geauga County, all of Cuyahoga County, northern part of Summit County, all of Medina, all of Lorain County, Ashland County, Richland County, northwestern Wayne County, all under severe thunderstorm warnings for, again, that potential here for some damaging wind gusts. Now, initially, when this all started to develop, we had the tornado warnings that came out early in Ottawa County, Sandusky, and Erie County. Those have all expired. They expired as of about 11:45. But the initial thought was we would get a tornado threat, and then that would transition to more of a wind threat and heavy rain threat, and that's likely what we're seeing happening now here with this. I still can't rule out that we don't have additional tornado warnings get issued, but at least at the moment, that is more of the concern is a damaging wind threat with that. So we're going to continue to kind of keep an eye on our live camera there. You can see the lightning really picking up. And if you remember from last night, when these storms came into the Cleveland metro area, it was like a strobe light, as you, I'm sure, recall. And the tremendous amount of lightning that we had, we're going to repeat that here, as you can see with this particular camera shot. But the good news is with this, we don't expect it to last as long into the night. But again, it is still going to be incredibly intense. By the way, some new information I'm just getting in. We are seeing rotation just offshore of Bay Village at the moment, just offshore Bay Village. You can see the rain now arriving in Cleveland, but near Bay Village, we do see rotation. It's about 600 feet off the ground right now, but there is rotation with this line. So even though we don't technically have a tornado warning in effect here, we could get one issued. We are seeing rotation just offshore of Bay Village. I want to go right over here to where our live radar, that's where, of course, a severe weather threat is at the moment. But let me go back here to our live radar sweep. And I'm going to push in. Yes, producers, we're going to continue with coverage here, especially with this coming in through Cleveland. Of course, we've got now some rotation being indicated near Bay Village. I just want to zoom in here to where we're talking about. And again, just offshore here, again, you can see Euclid down through Cleveland. Again, the heavy thunderstorms now arriving in the Cleveland area. We're just kind of looking at multiple different things. I'm going to put this radar, I'm going to stop the motion here, and I want to go over, I want to put it into my velocity mode here because I want to look and see if we can pick up that rotation as well. Boy, we are just seeing some incredible wind showing up on this. Again, now, the rotation that we're seeing on radar, and I want to see if I can look at it from multiple angles. It looks like now the rotation is just northeast of Lakewood, now near just north of Edgewater, where this is. And let me see, I'm looking at the National Weather Service radar in Cleveland at the airport, and I want to switch over here. You're going to see the radar kind of change a little color here because I'm going to pull up a different radar site. Again, now I'm looking, okay, we're getting a tornado warning coming out now for downtown Cleveland, folks. Again, breaking news, tornado warning now is going to be issued for Cleveland, for downtown Cleveland. There it is, just coming out. Cleveland now under a tornado warning, includes Cuyahoga County, now under the tornado warning. Let me get all the information with this. I just want to make sure I get you the accurate information that we have out here. Here is the tornado warning that we have out. Cuyahoga, Geauga, Lake, Portage, and Summit counties now under a tornado warning until 12:30. Until 12:30. This is going to include downtown Cleveland. Tornado sirens are going to go off for downtown Cleveland. Weather Service is telling us this does include downtown Cleveland. Again, tornado warning is out. We are now detecting rotation coming in toward the city. If you are in Cleveland, you need to be in your storm shelter right now as a tornado warning has been issued. Let me get you the latest on the full details of this information that we are getting in. I'll go back over to my reflectivity mode as I get this for you. Again, there's the tornado warning coming out here, and you can see some of the towns being included in this tornado warning with this. And as you look at that, Weather Service has issued the tornado warning for northern Portage County, western Trumbull County, Geauga County, Cuyahoga County, southwestern Lake County, northeastern Summit County, southwestern Ashtabula County until 12:30. National Weather Service believes a severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado now over downtown Cleveland, moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. Those in Warrensville Heights, Highland Hills, can expect this storm at 12:05. Solon, Macedonia at 12:10. South Russell at 12:15. Streetsboro at 12:20. Garrettsville around 12:30. Other areas that need to be in your storm shelter include North Randall, Valley View, Shaker Heights, Bentleyville, Orange, Seven Hills, Highland Heights, Aurora, South Euclid, Bainbridge, Hunting Valley, Lyndhurst, Glen Willow, Wayland, University Heights, Brooklyn Heights, Kirtland, and Wickliffe all need to be in your shelters at this time. Very dangerous storm. Tornado located over downtown Cleveland, moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. Let me get you the latest information on that. Again, if you're just joining us, we are now at the bottom, or rather at the top of the hour. We are right at midnight. You're watching breaking weather coverage with a tornado warning that is in effect for downtown Cleveland. It has been a while since we've had downtown Cleveland in the midst of a tornado warning with a possible tornado right over downtown. Parma, 2 minutes. Garfield Heights, 5 minutes. Maple Heights in 6 minutes. Coming in toward Bedford in 9 minutes, and then headed over toward the Solon area here. Solon area rather in 12 minutes. I apologize for getting multiple information. Now a second tornado rotation is now coming onshore between Brattonhall and Euclid. Again, second rotation, one over downtown Cleveland, one between Brattonhall and Euclid. Need to be taking shelter now with this tornadic cell coming into downtown Cleveland right now. I want to go over, as we continue to monitor the tornado warning that we have out. Again, Cuyahoga County, multiple counties under tornado warnings there. Again, you can see the list at the bottom of your screen. And just to kind of get you some of the information that we are watching, again, our visibility here in downtown Cleveland is really deteriorated. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that camera. But I just want to, while we look at that, and get you the latest information that we have out. And again, the possible tornado located now coming onshore near Burke Airport. Near Burke Airport is where this rotation is coming onshore right now. With this dangerous thunderstorm. Again, if you're watching tonight in the Cleveland area or anywhere around Cleveland, you need to be in your storm shelter right now. Tornado warning is out. The downtown Cleveland area, in fact, the entire Cuyahoga County points to the east of that under this tornado warning here until 12:30. Again, you can see the tornado warning coming out. I want to stop this into the most current frame here. Again, a couple of areas of rotation that we're seeing with this. One that's coming on right there. Another one that's just come on shore near the Lakefront Airport, Burke Lakefront Airport. Those are the two areas that we're seeing now showing up here that are pushing east-southeast at about 60 miles per hour. Coming in. So, again, downtown Cleveland rotation now looking like it's slipping just to the east of the main, where Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, and the Downtown Science Center, where the downtown buildings are, probably just coming up on the east side of that now. And then up here, just to the west of Euclid, two areas of rotation that are showing up. These are coming, again, onshore. Let me zoom in a little tighter. I want to get you down to street level here, again, so we can see exactly where these are. And with that, I'm going to go over to my velocity mode, because I think I can a little bit clearer show you exactly where the rotation is with this. And let me yeah, I mean, not only are we seeing the rotation, I'm just seeing some incredible winds that are showing up as well. Let me pull up a different radar vantage point as well here as we zoom into this. I just want to go and look at a couple of different radar sites. Oh, yeah. So Again, here's the rotation. We got very intense winds here. We're picking up a little bit of rotation here. Again, just on the east side here, right near 422 and 87. And then also rotation that's been coming on shore here near Euclid, crossing 90. It's going to head over toward Richmond Heights, Cleveland Heights. So again, multiple areas that we're seeing here. Again, these are pushing up. There's now the rotation becoming a little bit clearer here near Cleveland Heights at the moment. With that, so again, between just looking at the latest coming in, between Bracknell and Euclid, so in here, and then the other one that just came across Burke Lakefront Airport, likely just slipping off here to the east now, moving east at, I believe, 60 miles per hour was the latest that I had on this. With that, I'll go back over and look at, again, I just want to point out some of the wind speeds that we're detecting with this as well. Again, even if you don't have the tornado pushing through, I just want to look at some of the wind speeds here that are coming off of, okay, there's the tornado warning. Again, those are out until 12:30. Let me see if I can get the actual wind speed to plot with this near the Wickliffe area, 74 mile per hour winds. Again, near Cleveland Heights, measuring wind here, I believe, probably close to the same. Here around 70, 75 miles per hour. So that's, again, we're talking 70 to 80 mile per hour winds with this coming into the area. All right. So, again, those are the two areas of rotation that we have now with that. And let me clear this information off here as this continues to push off to the east. I'm going to zoom back out so you can kind of, again, look at the vantage point that we're seeing, kind of where the whole thing is moving. Again, downtown Cleveland, under the tornado warning, this goes off to the east. We did just get a report now of at Burke Airport of 70, I believe that's 70 to 75 mile per hour winds just reported there with that. Unclear again if that's straight line wind threat or if that was a straight line wind or if that was with a tornado. But we did see rotation as that wind was coming on. 75 miles per hour was just measured at Burke Airport. That occurred here again just seconds ago. With that cell pushing on. I want to see if I can go back and kind of take a look and see if we can visually see anything. I'm looking out of the corner of my eye here. I am watching the camera from downtown Cleveland as well. And we're watching that. I'm trying to get some other vantage points as well that we're getting in. But again, this is a live look at downtown Cleveland. And we just had a ton of lightning there. And visibility is down. Again, we're looking from Lakewood here toward the downtown. Again, that shot courtesy of EarthCam as we look toward the city with a tornado warning that is in effect, 75 mile per hour winds coming on shore. That was measured. Radar has detected as high as 85 miles per hour with this cell that has been pushing through the area. Getting some information, again, some updated information. I do want to read that. Tornado warning continues here for these areas. I'm going to let the radar load back up here that we're getting. Looks like downtown Cleveland now has been cleared from the tornado warning. The tornado warning just east side of Cuyahoga County as the tornadic cell has pushed out of downtown itself, but is still moving through the east side right now of the Cleveland metro. And I'm just going to kind of zoom in here. Pepper Pike, Solon area, over toward Newberry, just north of Brecksville is where this cell is. Let me get you the latest that we just got across here. Tornado warning continues here. Located over Highland Hills, now 7 miles east of Cleveland, moving east at 60 miles per hour, again impacting Solon area, Macedonia, between now and 12:10, so in the next 2 minutes. South Russell at 12:15, Streetsboro at 12:20, Mantua at about 12:25, Garrettsville and West Farmington at 12:35, Newton Falls and Bristolville coming up at 12:40. That is what we are monitoring now. Again, this storm, by the way, moving east at 60 miles per hour. And this cell is quickly pushing from eastern Cuyahoga County. In this whole line, I want to expand, kind of give you the whole picture for the folks that are watching in other locations here. again, this is just kind of the leading edge. You can see this whole line kind of expands and is approaching and coming southeastward. It's moved through the Norwalk area, headed toward Mansfield, Ashland, basically going to come up right along and parallel I-71 here over the next few minutes. But it's that northern side of the line that is the most intense. Now we are getting a radar showing 80-plus mile-per-hour winds near Mayfield Heights. So near Mayfield Heights is now where we have 80-plus mile-per-hour winds being detected by radar at the moment with this particular cell that is coming on shore. Mayfield Heights, it's moving toward Chesterland and Gates Mills. Again, that is where we're getting 80-plus mile-per-hour winds. Let me go over here, and we'll take you to the velocity now. And so we can show you kind of the wind speeds that we're seeing and what we're talking about. So these are just incredible wind speeds here that are coming into the area here. So just to kind of move down the line here. Here's Paynesville, again, just east of Menor area where you can see that bright color, that bright shading. Again, this is where we're talking 70-plus mile-per-hour winds, but it's located right here. Between Mayfield Heights and Chester, that is where the radar right now is indicating 80-plus mile-per-hour winds. Let me show you what radar is showing right now. 82 miles per hour coming in toward Chesterland. That should say Chesterland there on the radar, not Chester, but Chesterland and Gates Mills. That is the wind speed that we're seeing. And there appears that there is some rotation still showing up there as well. Let me clear that, and I'll come over to the wall and show you what I'm talking about. So, again, where you see this peach color, that is right over 322 there. Between Mayfield Heights and Chester, that is where the strongest winds are, 80-plus mile-per-hour winds. Also, radar is detecting near Huntington Valley right now, 75-mile-per-hour winds. So, again, a couple of areas here where we've got some very intense winds, but this is the strongest wind. And there appears to be at least some broad rotation still showing up here. By the way, we're under a tornado warning here. So there is some, at least broad rotation still showing up here with this. So again, we're going to follow this. If we start to get some green showing up here, which would indicate winds coming toward the radar side, that would be another area that we'd have to really start to pay attention to, picking back up rotation. But boy, just watching multiple scans here now, 11 minutes after midnight here between Mayfield Heights and Chester, that is some intense wind. Take shelter now as that particular cluster of thunderstorms moves by. And just, I'm going to go down the line here because that was kind of the focus that kind of drew our eye just a moment ago. But you can see there's multiple areas as I come down here. We're seeing basically north all the way down this line. In fact, we're now getting a new tornado warning coming out now for Ashtabula County, Geauga County, Lake County. And it looks like, let me expand the view here. I may have gotten another one as well. So, yeah, there's where the new tornado warnings are out. Let me go back over to the reflectivity mode because that makes it a little bit easier to see. Actually, I'm going to turn the radar off here. Yeah, we did get another tornado warning. So we now have multiple tornado warnings. Now that's one out in northern Ashland County, western Medina County, into much of Wayne County. That is going to include the Worcester area, now under a tornado warning. And then, of course, now we've got the tornado warning up in Ashtabula Lake and Geauga County. So now the tornado rotation located near Nova, Ohio, which is just north of, I believe that's 224. Again, I'm going to turn the radar back on. I just kind of wanted to give you so you can visually see where the tornado warnings are here with this. But again, near Nova, Ohio, near Highway 224, that's where we've got some rotation showing up. And then I just want to zoom into this southern one that we just got. And this is going to be, looks like near Sullivan, west of Homer. So this, by the way, this new tornado warning does include the Lodi area, West Salem, Burbank, Creston, down all the way to Worcester, Jeromesville. In that, the rotation, by the way, is right here. Again, that's where we're seeing the rotation at the moment, located right near Sullivan. And just to kind of pinpoint it, I'm going to go back over to the velocity mode. Yeah, boy. In fact, there may be two areas of rotation that I see here on the radar. There's one just west of the Chatham area, just northwest of Lodi, and the other one here that's near Sullivan. Can you see that? Again, the red and green, that's what I'm looking at here. When you get red and green right next to each other, red and green right next to each other, there could even be a little bit of rotation there. You can make the argument there. So, again, anywhere here, and this is, we're talking Ashland County coming into toward the Worcester area. That is kind of the area that we're watching as well. And again, just northwest of Lodi. Yeah, that's what the Weather Service is saying. This is just east of Nova, by the way, near the town of Spencer, where that is located, just northwest of Lodi. I want to put this in motion because I could see there, if I put it in motion, kind of get a good idea of how and where this is moving. So let me slow it down here, and we'll put this into motion. Yeah, so that is moving that way, and then watch this cell. So if you just, kind of eye that and project that out, it's headed toward Lodi, between Chatham and Lodi here. So that is what we're going to be paying very close attention to here over the next few minutes. So that is that cluster of storms. Obviously, we've got other additional tornado warnings out, so I'm going to back up here for a moment. I'm going to turn on radar mode here, go back over to our reflectivity mode, what you're used to seeing. And you're going to see me zoom out a little bit, and we're going to go back up here to the northeast where we've got another tornado warning in effect. The latest tornado warning coming out here is near Paynesville and the Chardon area. This is going to head over toward Geneva on the lakes, and Ashtabula. Let me put this back into the velocity mode as well, because that helps us visualize where that rotation is. A little bit more broad rotation showing up here. Again, I'll put this back into motion. Let me slow this down as well. Boy, I'm just getting so many warnings coming out. We're gonna expand and look at all of this here in just a moment. I just want to again take one step at a time here. Make sure I've got the speed slowed down here. I'll clear that out of here, so we're back into velocity mode and put this into motion. So yeah, that's the last 3 hours. Let's go back over here to the last 30 minutes. And again, we'll slow that down a little bit. And so that'll give us a little bit better feel here. Again, near just north of Chardon up through Leroy. We're just seeing kind of multiple areas here of rotation. You see that bright pink. Again, where you see the bright pink, we're talking 70 miles per hour or higher. And then, again, just near the Leroy area between Leroy and Geneva, rotation showing up there as well. So, by the way, we're getting Cuyahoga County to drop off of the tornado warning at the moment. So let's back up here. I just want to review all the warnings that we have out. And I'm going to take the radar off because it makes it a little bit clearer to see where we have. But again, the tornado warning for Cuyahoga County and Lake County, I think that's Western Lake County. Yeah, Western Lake County has been dropped. Cuyahoga County now cleared from the tornado warning as well. So the Cleveland Metro, at least the Cleveland City, out of the tornado warning. The tornado warnings are off to the east now. By the way, the tornado warnings do include a large part of Lake County, a large part of Ashtabula County, back into Geauga County, western Trumbull County, northern Portage County. And then back a little bit farther to the south and west of there, we have tornado warnings that are out in western Medina County, northern Ashland County, and much of Wayne County, still under the tornado warnings. But now, for the moment, and likely for the night, Cleveland has been dropped from the tornado warning as that storm continues to push off to the east. We are now getting our first damage reports coming out from the area. We have gotten reports now of damage coming back out of the Cuyahoga County area now, reports of some wind damage that we're getting in. We're going to investigate that. Obviously, we're going to get through the latest updates that we have out with the actual warnings, but we are getting some damage reports now coming out of Cuyahoga County. I'm just trying to go back and look. Wires down near Clegg Road. We've got reports of a tree down onto an occupied vehicle. That was also just south of Center Ridge and Clegg Road. Again, hopefully that person is not injured, but it does look like a tree has fallen onto an occupied vehicle that was just northwest of Fairview Park. That is what we've got, some of the damage reports that were coming out right now. I just wanted to pass that along as we get them here. That one really kind of caught my attention. How dangerous these storms can be is here, especially at night. So multiple tornado warnings continue. I want to get you the update on the latest tornado warning that we have out. That is for Geauga, Summit, Ashtabula County, as well as Trumbull and Portage County. That possible tornado located near South Russell, or 14 miles southwest of Chardon. That's moving to the east at 60. Again, I'll zoom into that particular area that we're watching here. Again, let me zoom in a little bit tighter. All right, thank you, Dan. We now have got a report of 20,000 without power so far in northern Ohio with these storms moving by. So that's up from 12,000 that we had reported a little over an hour ago. But again, that number has increased, and likely that will continue to come up as well. Again, back to this the tornado threat. Dangerous storm located near Garrettsville. It will be near Garrettsville at 12:30. West Farmington at 12:35. Newton Falls to Bristolville at about 12:40. If you're in that area, you need to be taking shelter at this time with that likely tornado coming into that area. Again, going a little bit farther to the south here with the next tornado warning. This is the original one that prompted the tornado warning in downtown Cleveland. That particular cell now near Middlefield. Looking back at the velocity on this, see if we can determine where that rotation is. You know, the rotation is a little bit harder to pick out. The wind, though, is not. And I just want to zoom in again. Remember, we were talking about how high the winds were. This is near the Newberry area. And just to kind of get you an idea of what the wind speed is showing up on radar now, is still picking up, 80, 85, 87 mile per hour winds. Again, this is, near Burton, Bainbridge, the Westfield, down to Aurora right now. 65 to 75 mile per hour winds all in this area. But again, we're detecting winds as high, a little bit higher than that. In fact, let me just clear that out, because just a little bit farther to the southwest, boy, here near the Aurora area, just all around Aurora right now, we have got wind speeds here showing up. Again, we're getting, 90 plus mile per hour winds there just north of Aurora, and 80 plus mile per hour winds just south side of Aurora. So a lot of wind. Again, we're looking up a little bit higher up in the atmosphere, so we give you these numbers. We're giving you the numbers that we're seeing on the radar. And again, that radar is shooting up above the storm just a little bit. So we're looking at it at cloud level. And we look at it at cloud level, the wind's going to be a little bit higher there than it is going to be at the ground. So we show you this 91 mile per hour winds. It's probably closer to 81 mile per hour winds. So you could probably shave about 5 to 10 miles per hour, depending on how far away from the radar is that we are. You see the wind just dropped off a bit because we got another updated scan, and that there's the scan there. The storms moved out of that point that I had selected. But just to kind of keep an eye on that peach color there. And you can see as I go down this line here toward Streetsboro and toward Hudson, you see a lot of that peach color. Again, that is where just south of Hudson winds are being indicated on radar here, likely at 60 to, they're 94 miles per hour. Again, a little bit farther away from the radar, so probably can drop that down about 10 miles per hour. But still talking about some pretty intense winds here that are coming through this area. So, this whole line, when you start to get this line that bows out like what we have seen on this, and especially this late at night, you just got to be concerned with this. You see, I'm just going to kind of zoom out here, see how this whole line is, and take this full screen. And I'll put this into motion as this line, and when it bows out, that can enhance the wind with this. And that's what we're seeing. We're getting this whole line that's pushing out, and occasionally as this line pushes out, we get what we call these lines, and in these lines, occasionally the wind tries to spin up. You get these quick little spin-up vortices or tornadoes, and we're seeing multiple areas of that. So if you've got a tornado warning, we're trying to pinpoint exactly where we're seeing the rotation out, but sometimes it's hard to do that because we get some rotation that spins up in one location, then it quickly spins up in another location. So if you're under that tornado warning, anywhere in that tornado warning, you need to be taking shelter at this time. So again, east side of Cleveland, you get on up here toward Ashtabula, back down toward Chardon, back south of that, and then you get down here toward Worcester, west of Worcester, toward the Lodi area. Again, anywhere in that area with this line coming in and the ability to this to quickly spin up, you definitely want to be taking shelter at this time. I just got an update on the southernmost tornado warning. With that, I do want to read that information that we're just getting out from the National Weather Service here. The tornado warning continues here in until 12:45 for south central Medina County, northeastern Ashland County, and Wayne County. Right now, the possible tornado located over Lodi right now, pushing off here to the southeast at 55 miles per hour. So it is moving fast, and again, that storm capable of producing a tornado located near Lodi, about 12 miles southwest of Medina. Expand the view here just a little bit so you can kind of see these locations. You can see Lodi now on the map. Again, this storm moving off to the southeast at 55 miles per hour. This dangerous storm will be located near Worcester here at about 12:35, so about 10 minutes away from the arrival of this this tornadic cell. It'll be in Worcester at 12:35, Oroville at about 12:40, the Dalton area at 12:45. Other locations being impacted by this tornadic storm: Congress, Nankin, Roseburg, Reedsburg, Smithville, Burbank, Jeromesville, Apple Creek, and Westfield Center under the path of that. You can see all those towns, most of them listed there on that map there from what we are seeing at the moment. So that's the latest information that we're getting in from on that particular cell. Just tons of information coming out. I just want to back up here just to kind of give you an idea again of all the counties that are under warnings. And again, I'll turn the radar off here. Just look at pretty much all of northeastern Ohio, either under a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning at this point. At this moment here, heads up. There is discussion now that is being had about the Youngstown area, Youngstown to Warren area, to see if this cell is going to move in. So if you're in the Youngstown area at this point, keep a close eye on this. This is headed your way as well. Also, Worcester to Canton, down to New Philadelphia and Tuscarawas County. Keep an eye on this as well as this line pushes through with the multiple warnings that we're seeing out with that. Again, back over to the radar here with this. I do want to just call attention, because we've been focused here on northeast Ohio. We don't have a warning out, but just to show you that we do have thunderstorms that are developing in northwestern Ohio, and some of the models have been suggesting to us that we will start to get kind of a reformation of the line here. If you're watching us tonight from the Columbus metro area, this is what you need to be keeping an eye on. It is this part of that line that would swing into central Ohio, likely not until 2, 3 in the morning, but that is what you're going to be watching right there. It's not so much what we're dealing in northeastern Ohio. That's going to come into east central Ohio, but it's this northwest line. Again, there's no warnings out on that yet, but we're going to keep an eye on that here very, very closely here over the next little while. Again, let's go back over the multiple information that we have out. Again, there's multiple areas here. Obviously, we focus on the tornado warnings because that's what we are closely looking at. But just to show that whole entire line, we have had winds on radar here that have been up to 70 to 80 plus mile per hour showing up anywhere along that line. And I just want to point out that when you get wind speeds like that, even though you may not be under tornado warning, it's tempting with this to think, oh, I'm not under a tornado warning, it's not going to be that bad. Well, if you got 80 mile per hour winds, that's the strength of an EF0 coming up to an EF1 tornado. So it can do just as much damage whether you're under the tornado warning or not, to have these severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. Again, 20,000 plus now without power, according to the latest information that we're getting in. All right, I did just get an update here on the tornado warning in Ashtabula County. I do want to read that information that we're getting out. Tornado warning for northeastern Geauga County and Lake County is going to be dropped as that cell is moved out of the area, not because of the storm weakening, but that basically that tornado warning is going to shrink in size, because you can see where the line is here with this, and I'll zoom into what I'm talking about here. That line, that basically the line of storms has moved out of where the western part of that warning is. So from the Mantoa area up through Newberry, back toward the Solon area, the Hudson area, the line is already pushed by. So the tornado threats move more over toward Farmington, Orwell, down through Newton Falls at this point. And again, I point out how close we're getting to Youngstown right now and the Warren area as well, that we're going to be watching here over the next few minutes as this line races here to the southeast. I want to stop the vantage point. We're going to look back over toward the velocity with this. Again, we're looking for rotation. And two areas just between Geneva and Ashtabula. We're seeing what looks to be some broad rotation here between Harpersville, Geneva, and Geneva on the Lake. So let me circle that area that we're seeing here. This is one area of rotation that we're seeing. So in this area here, some very strong winds out from that. Also, just getting some information now that the Chardon Fire Department is now reporting trees down on a house with structural damage now in Chardon, and that mutual aid is having to be rendered as well. Large amount of debris on Auburn Road being reported there near the Meadowhurst Street, I believe that is. So we're getting significant wind damage being reported. That's coming in near the Chardon area at this point. That information being relayed to me. So that's just telling us that, again, just confirming what we're seeing on radar. There's just the incredible amount of wind that we're seeing with this, whether it's tornado damage or not. Again, we go back here, and I'm just seeing the incredible amount of wind coming in between Nelson and Middlefield, down toward Shalersville, coming in toward the Ravenna area as well. Again, when we start to get this color of peach, that is on this radar, you're talking 80-plus mile-per-hour winds with this type of signature that we're getting on radars here. So Farmington, you get this bright peach color here. Again, 80-mile-per-hour winds, a possibility there. Shalersville, 80-mile-per-hour winds. Ravenna, 75 to 80-mile-per-hour winds coming in your area as well. And also, I'm looking, you may not be able to see it here, and I'll kind of move it, but down toward the Akron area, also indicating some intense winds. Let me just show you here, coming in toward downtown Akron, on the south side, let me see if I can get the wind speed off of that particular cell. Again, between Barberton and Akron, again, radar indicating up to 68 to 70 mile-per-hour winds. Let me look here just northwest of Akron, 75 mile-per-hour winds being detected there. So I'm just going to try here while we have a moment, and I look at this. I'm going to try to get my Akron camera pulled up here and see if we can start to get some views out of the Akron. I tell you, I'm just looking at it here off screen. And boy, that camera's shaking around here. Let me see if I can pull it up as well as we watch. Again, the potential here is for 70 plus, maybe close to 80 mile-per-hour winds. You look at it here on radar, coming in toward downtown Akron as well. We're going to keep an eye on this line of thunderstorms as it pushes by. Let me see if I can pull that up here. So let's look again. You see the wind. Here's a look at downtown Akron. You can see the camera beginning to shake there as the intense winds are coming into downtown Akron right now. While you look at that camera shot, I just want to get some of the updated information that we're getting in from the National Weather Service. Again, we're getting reports of some damage now, structural damage being reported in the Chardon area at this moment, with aid being, not exactly sure what they mean by aid, whether that's coming in to clear the structural damage or if that is due to injuries. We also know that just a little while ago in the east side of Cuyahoga County, we had a tree down on a car, an occupied car. That was reported to us as well over the last few minutes that has come across. I'm just going back to look at some of the other damage reports that are coming in. Yeah, structural damage down in Geauga County. That is the tree down that I was just talking about, and just looking at some of the other reports that are coming up. There's quite a few coming across right now. So again, we'll continue to follow that as well. We are getting the tornado warning that's continuing here for Ashland and Wayne County. So again, we'll continue to follow that camera. I'll show you that here again momentarily. We've got to get back to radar though now and get you caught up on where the tornado warnings are out. I will say that we're getting some drop-off in some of the tornado warnings that are coming across. You can see that a tornado warning is now just out for Ashtabula County, as well as now just Wayne and Ashland County. So we scaled back down to 3 counties under tornado warnings. Just 3 counties now under tornado warnings. That include Ashtabula County, Geauga County, Lake County now have been cleared because, again, that line has pushed off to the east. And now just the eastern sliver, east central sliver of Ashland County and Wayne County now under the tornado warning. I do want to point out that we were showing Akron, we were showing downtown Akron. There is not a tornado warning in downtown Akron. It is a severe thunderstorm warning. But as I've been stressing all night, these severe thunderstorms have had a history of producing winds up over 70, maybe close to 80 miles per hour. Some of these have been moving by, which would be equivalent to being able to produce that potential here for tornadic-like damage. So let's go back here to see. I was talking, some other information has come across, and okay, that's the latest information that we have out. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. Just to project out here, looking toward New Philadelphia, toward Carrollton, Youngstown area now, Trumbull County and Mahoning County now under severe thunderstorm warnings. Some good news there. And by the way, you see one of the counties here flashing in orange around that tornado warning here in northeastern Ohio. When we see it flashing in orange like that, that's just telling us that there's probably some other areas of rotation that we are seeing coming in through Lake Geauga County. That's just not enough to prompt a tornado warning at this point for areas west of Ashtabula County. But Ashtabula County itself is under a tornado warning. All right, let's go back over to the velocity now so we can point out where we are actually seeing rotation. And we're going to start back up here in northeastern Ohio and Ashtabula County. And really, if the rotation is here, it appears to me that it is very broad rotation at this point, but just south of Ashtabula. Now, there's also some rotation that shows up between Geneva and Ashtabula, and I point that out very close to the Geneva on the Lake area. Between Geneva on the Lake and Ashtabula, there is at least some broad rotation showing up. And when I say broad rotation, what in the world does that mean? Well, to get a tornado, that's a very small circulation on the grand scale of things. We're seeing rotation over a large area. When you get rotation over a large area, that typically doesn't necessarily mean it's going to produce a tornado. That means there's some circulation that we have to watch, and if it tightens up, that means that it could produce a tornado. But right now we see broad rotation. Weather Service has been monitoring this, saying that we could see that this could tighten up and produce a tornado. I don't see it right now. There is still a tornado warning that is coming out. Just getting a report down. We're going to go to the south part of this now in Kent of 80-mile-per-hour winds being reported by a backyard weather station with numerous trees being reported. This viewer, the spotter, reporting hearing trees snapping. And boy, that's just got to be a tough sign, a tough thing to hear, especially this late at night with this. Hearing that sign, hearing basically trees snapping and not being able to see it too much. So that's where the tornado warning is. Going back down here toward the Kent area, again, we're getting reports now of again, hearing trees snap, up to 80-mile-per-hour winds being reported in Kent with this. And just looking back here at this line of thunderstorms, just watching the view of the live camera here near Stowe to Akron, and then just here south side between Barberton and Lakemore. I'm looking at a couple of different areas as well. Yeah, boy. Just near the Barberton area, just east of Barberton, I want to point out here what the wind speeds here with this cell right here. Yeah, boy. You can see what plotted there on radar near the Coventry area. Radar indicating wind speed here looks to be, boy, again, we're looking aloft here, and again, you see 97 miles per hour showing up here on radar. Again, likely have to subtract about 10 miles per hour from that. We did get, again, in that vicinity, a report of at least 80 mile per hour winds making it down to the ground with that cell. So that is just some incredible wind speeds with that cell coming across. We are also now being told by the Weather Service that they are seeing destructive winds coming in toward Braceville, Newton Falls, Lordstown, coming in toward Warren. And I just want to show you kind of the wind speeds here near the Braceville area. Again, Weather Service now saying they're issuing this with the wording as this is destructive wording now for severe thunderstorm warning in southern Trumbull County, northern Mahoning County now. They believe that the winds here are destructive. You saw the wind just drop off there. That's only because the storm moved out of that point that I had highlighted. Again, still 76 mile per hour. But again, if I replot it here a little bit farther to the east, you'll still see wind speeds up at that level, at 90 plus mile per hour. Again, we're looking at it pretty high up now from the radar site, so we likely can subtract at least 10, if not 15 miles per hour from that number, but still 80 to 85 mile per hour winds are going to produce quite a bit of destruction. Again, that's coming in toward the Youngstown, Warren area, Lordstown, Mineral Ridge, Weathersfield, Newton Falls. It's over Braceville right now. With that very intense winds. Again, it's not a tornado warning, and I've been pointing out, as I have for much of the night, these severe thunderstorm warnings, you got to take them just as seriously because, if anything, we've seen some of the severe thunderstorm warnings, while the wind is straight line, some of the wind with that has been stronger than what we've seen with some of the tornado warning winds that we have seen. The tornado warnings, just because we're getting the rotation there. Obviously, that's a different type of destruction, but still, destruction is destruction. So, again, back down here toward the Worcester area, still have a tornado warning here. I'm just looking at the velocity on this one. Shaking my head a little bit because it's kind of hard to see exactly where that rotation is at the moment with this cell. But in the Worcester area, the wind is not as strong as what we're seeing outside of the tornado warning. But the argument can be made here just west of Worcester that there's still some rotation showing up along Highway 30 coming in toward the Worcester area at this point. So please continue to take shelter at the moment. And Weather Service just continuing to go back to what's coming in toward the Youngstown, Warren area as they are just telling folks here, if you are coming into western sections of Trumbull County, northwestern Mahoning County, they are saying, please treat this like a tornado. That's the wording that we're getting in. This is a destructive storm that's coming in toward Youngstown. Again, we are detecting winds on our radar at 90 to 95 miles per hour coming into Youngstown right now. That again, we're detecting at 90, 95 miles per hour. It's not quite that high because we're looking at it pretty high up. Down at ground level, you're still talking 80 to 85 mile an hour winds. That's still going to do quite a bit of destruction. As much destruction, arguably, as a potential EF1 tornado with that type of wind speed that we are seeing. So, again, destructive severe warning. They are saying now if you're in Newton Falls, Warren, Niles, Youngstown, Craig Beach, Canfield, you need to treat this severe thunderstorm warning like it's a tornado warning. This is a destructive storm coming in. That warning has now been issued all the way to the Pennsylvania border from the National Weather Service, what they're telling us now. So, again, let's back up. Let's kind of reset. We're 41 minutes here after midnight. And we got multiple areas under severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have 2 counties under tornado warnings. Again, as I take the radar off, kind of give you a little bit visibility. By the way, you see those little white dots. The lightning is still showing up. I still have lightning detection turned on there. But Ashtabula County, again, around Ashtabula, possible tornado showing up on radar. At least rotation is showing up. Also near the Worcester area, possible rotation showing up there as well. But we're still seeing, again, the most destructive winds showing up outside of where the tornado warnings are at the moment, and that is in the Youngstown area in particular, and then coming in between Akron and the Canton area. So while I've been showing you the Youngstown, Warren area, I do want to show you back down here toward the Akron area, and in just a moment, I want to take you and show you our live camera back there as well. But let's take a look at some of the velocity that we're getting here between Stowe and just east side of Akron. I mean, gee, we're still detecting 80, 85 mile per hour winds between Stowe and Akron. In fact, a large, widespread area of winds that are likely over 70 miles per hour between Ravenna, between Stowe and Akron and Suffield, down through Hartville. Again, potential for winds all in this area over 70 miles per hour. Again, our radar, when we detect a point, we are seeing that wind at 80, 85 miles per hour because we're looking at it a little bit higher up with that. So, again, just an incredible amount of wind here that is showing up on radar with this cluster of thunderstorms. And let's see if I can pull back up our live camera here. Again, looking at downtown Akron, it looks a little bit calmer here. I think the worst of the wind is likely kind of surrounding the Akron area, although still seeing that the camera shake just a bit. Still pretty decent visibility showing up at downtown Akron. But we have got an incredible line of thunderstorms pushing through that area with, again, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. And what's more significant, especially east of Akron, are those wind speeds that continue to just howl right now from that area. Also, as we continue to monitor, just want to take you back here, even though Cleveland, you're out of the warning areas, we're still seeing a lot of frequent lightning. We've got better visibility in Cleveland. Again, this shot courtesy of EarthCam as we look into the area, but we have seen quite a few lightning strikes. And again, we're looking toward the city and looking south and east of the city so we can see some of the storms in the distance there. And one of the things we saw just a moment ago, that was off camera, was a lightning strike pretty much right behind the Tower City building there, behind where they're building the Sherman-Williams, and what looked to be a power flash as lightning struck there. Again, that happened just about 4 or 5 minutes ago. That may explain, obviously, some of the power outages that we had, but we did see what appeared to be a power outage, or a power flash, rather, when we had that lightning strike there just a few minutes ago there. But again, at least improving conditions in Cleveland, but still a lot of lightning in the area at the moment. With that particular cluster of thunderstorms pushing by. All right, let's go back over. We're getting information now from the National Weather Service. They are going to let the tornado warning expire in the Ashland and Wayne County area, so perhaps some good news there. We are going to get that one to expire here in just about a few seconds. That is going to drop off here. I believe as of 12:45, you'll see that fall off and just go into a severe thunderstorm warning. There it is. It dropped off. So we have seen that rotation weaken. We've really seen that line weaken a bit. You kind of see the line looking a bit more broken on the radar at the moment. Where the line is much more intense is with this line coming into Youngstown. You start to pick up more red with this and orange showing up on the radar. Again, that's where we're detecting incredible wind speeds coming in through the Champion area, through the Niles area, Newton Falls, toward Ellsworth and Youngstown with that. And I just want to indicate, the Weather Service is still saying that destructive winds are still likely between Warren and Youngstown. You see new warnings coming out over there in Pennsylvania. It's going to take it all the way to Pulaski and in the Hermitage area. We do have Spectrum News viewers in Hermitage. If you're waking up, this is approaching you, coming across the border there. So a heads up for you. Again, destructive winds, a possibility here. Let's just go and take a look here at what the winds have done and see if they've come down a little bit over the last few minutes. Thank you, sir. 31,000 now without power. So we've seen that number. It continues to go up about every 20, 30 minutes in increments of about 10,000. So still detecting some very intense wind speeds here. They may have come down just a little bit. We'll see. Let me verify that. Even if it's come down a little bit, we're still talking about some incredible wind speeds with that. So let's look around the Warren area right now, 77 to 80. Yeah, so I mean, coming in toward Youngstown, we're talking 80, 85 mile per hour winds coming into that area here over the next few minutes. So Vienna down through McConnell to Youngstown, and then eventually crossing the border, heading over toward Hermitage, Pulaski, Newcastle. That is the line of thunderstorms moving through and headed toward your area. So we're just going back. I'm just getting some updated reports. Just getting information from amateur radio operators back in Ashland County that so far they've had no reports of damage with the tornadic cell that came through Ashland with that. So a little bit of good news there. Unfortunately, we have had other, in fact, several reports of damage coming out, but at least with that particular cell. The other area, but just south of Ravenna, again, near Suffield to Brimfield to Randolph, just looking just at this area here on radar, this whole area here, this peach color, especially just south of Randolph here, that is some incredible winds. And this is a wide area likely of 65 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts that are coming in behind this. Now, one of the things that we're watching is, of course, the radar is looking at this a little bit higher up, and we get this line that is pushed east, pushing east to the quick. Sometimes the wind even aloft. You ever notice as some of these storms move by, you see these mammatus clouds, the kind of bubbly-looking clouds? That's an indication of just a lot of turbulence up in the sky, even after the storms have moved through. Well, if it were daylight, you'd probably see mammatus with this as this line moves off to the east because of the turbulent winds that are up here. And again, some of this is probably coming down toward ground level here. Again, just east of Akron now, coming into eastern Summit County and then heading over toward Lexington. And it's going to continue to head east from there. Again, of 75 to 85 mile per hour winds where we're getting that type of that color shading. And just to, again, I'll plot a couple of areas here. You see what I'm talking about? That's the wind speed that we're seeing. Now, keep in mind, we are seeing that wind aloft, high up, a couple thousand feet up at in the middle of the cloud. And so it's likely that type of wind not making it all the way down to the ground. But still, even if part of that is, which would likely be 70 to 80 mile per hour winds making it down to the ground, there could be some widespread damage because that is just a huge area, a geographical area of intense winds. Look at that. We're going between Ravenna, all the way down between Ravenna and Canton. That entire zone with that type of wind being detected on radar right now is just impressive. Impressive is a poor word, just incredible. As that comes east-southeast and again headed toward the Alliance area and toward Newton Falls. So, again, that's the area that we continue to watch with this. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings. I just want to back up because one of the things that I do want to point out, all of the at the moment, all of the tornado warnings have expired. They expired about 5 minutes ago, but we still have, and we're still on the air because of the fact that we have destructive, severe thunderstorms that are continuing to move through. Now, the good news is with this is going to quickly push east and south. It's going to take a while to come out of east central Ohio, but quickly we're going to get the storms to exit northeastern Ohio. So Ashtabula County, these storms are racing on the eastern part of the county. Right now, Youngstown batten down the hatches, Warren batten down the hatches. Stay inside, stay away from windows until this cluster moves through, because of the fact that you just got some very intense wind here that's coming through the area. And I know you're looking and say, well, it's not a tornado warning, Eric. Severe thunderstorm warning with a destructive tag. That's what we get from the Weather Service, meaning it's just as destructive as a tornado. In fact, the argument could be made it could be more destructive than a tornado because a tornado is just a small pinpoint area, whereas this severe thunderstorm warning with the wind with this is a widespread area that we're seeing of straight line winds that are coming through with that. And that goes all the way down through Canton, Worcester. And it looks like now Holmes County has now been added under the severe thunderstorm warning as well. So north of Millersburg, I believe, now under that severe thunderstorm warning. So yeah, Apple Creek, just north of Millersburg coming out. We're getting reports of wind damage in Northfield, which is in Summit County. That would make a lot of sense from what we're seeing on radar. By the way, going back toward Ashland, Mansfield, we do run out of the warnings. The western flank of this line of thunderstorms has weakened somewhat with that. The concern is, again, if you're watching us from the Columbus metro area and you're just kind of, hey, it's quiet here, just watching because there's no late night shows on. We appreciate you watching, obviously, but I do want to circle what we're monitoring for central Ohio would be whatever develops back here. This would be the line that will eventually push southeastward later on tonight. Right now it is not severe, but this has been holding together, if not intensifying, over the last little while. You can see the latest sweep there with that. Again, that's the area that we're going to be watching, pushing off here to the southeast. And again, if you kind of traject that out, and let's put that into motion here. I'm going to put this over the last hour. I've got some new warnings coming out I'm going to get to here in just a moment. You probably saw those flash up. But let me put this into motion for you. Again, you can see the track here, and if you just kind of project that out here, the southern part of this is going to come into central Ohio. Likely, though, if we do that speed, I just want to look and kind of give you an estimated time. You're thinking, oh gosh, Eric, what time is this going to arrive? If it's in central Ohio, you're talking probably 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours away for that time, coming at about 100 miles. Again, direct miles as opposed to the highway. And you think, gosh, Toledo's farther away than that. Well, we're looking at direct. You don't have to take any curves or anything like that. So, again, new severe thunderstorm warnings that we just got coming out. Let me get the information on that. Severe thunderstorm warnings that have just come out. This is going to go over into, I believe that's, Columbiana County, Harrison County, Jefferson County, Ohio, with the potential here for 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe even stronger than that, what we have seen on radar. But that's the information that we've gotten so far. You can see all the warnings, basically from Worcester all the way to the to Ashtabula under severe thunderstorm warning. So all of this moving along I-76 now, the main line coming south of I-76, and again back into the Youngstown area that we're watching still. I want to go back over into Youngstown and take a look at the velocity again that we had been watching with this, because the Weather Service had issued this as a destructive storm. Now, looking at just the reflectivity on this, was just the radar that you're used to seeing, looking at raindrops, it looks like it's broken up a little bit, but looking at the velocity, it still looks fairly significant on velocity. Again, we're looking at kind of the edge of it, especially here just west of the Hermitage area. If you're watching us from Hermitage, you're kind of on the edge of our radar beam there, as far out as we can see, but at the very edge. And again, we're looking pretty high up here in the storm. So I'm gonna plot this, and we've got to take this wind speed plot a little bit with a grain of salt, because we're looking at it really high up. So we're detecting at least winds aloft, probably 5,000–6,000 feet up north of Brookfield in Hermitage, approaching 90 miles per hour. Likely can shave off about 20 miles per hour from that, because of just kind of calculating the math there of how high up in the storm that we're looking. So we're probably at 65 to 70, maybe 75 mile per hour winds there. So it does appear that the wind may have come down a little bit there just north of the Youngstown area. But going west of Youngstown, there is still a tremendous amount of wind. Let me see if I can correlate this with the radar and the reflecting. Yeah, boy, it's just with this whole cell between Ellsworth, the Wethersfield, coming into Youngstown, to Boardman, down through Salem, this whole area, boy, just has some really intense wind speeds. It's some of the more severe winds that we're seeing are back here near Suffield, Hartville, and Atwater. Go ahead. What'd you say? Oh, yeah. We're going to continue here for just a bit longer. Here, we're coming up here at 1 o'clock in the morning. I just want to continue here a bit longer with the severe thunderstorm warnings here. We're going to go, producer, let's go through the 1:11 a.m. Weathercast, and then we'll reevaluate at that point if we can, just for get us through, at least through the Canton area, through Youngstown, because we still have at least some pretty populated areas with some intense winds. In fact, let me go back here to Canton, where we just had some strong winds that had pushed through. Let's look at some of the wind speeds here that we're getting up on radar. Is still coming in between North Canton to Alliance. Boy, still just a huge area of 90-mile-an-hour winds being detected. Again, we're likely looking high up in the storm. Subtract about 10 miles per hour off of that, and you're still looking about 80-mile-per-hour winds coming in here. Northeastern Stark County, a large part of Portage County with this. In fact, we're just getting, as I'm reading that, damage report coming in from Portage County, I believe. Yeah, reports of tree limbs down, power poles down, poles broken. Let me look back. I just moved away from me. Just south of Aurora is where that's coming out. So that would correlate with what we're seeing just south of Aurora. Again, that's where we got a lot of wind damage coming out here from this, and we're just seeing a lot of wind here with this whole line of thunderstorms pushing through this area here. So, again, we're scaling back on our severe thunderstorm warnings. So we're going to take you here past the 1 o'clock hour. We're coming up here on 1 a.m. here in Ohio as we monitor severe thunderstorms that have been moving by. And I just want to kind of review here. We've been monitoring a couple of areas. Obviously, we had tornado warnings that started earlier in the night back around the Toledo area. They started out around Ottawa County and Sandusky County, and we were just monitoring, just multiple lines of initially quick spin-ups and what appeared to be perhaps some tornadoes likely had developed. Now, we're still, it'll take until morning till we can get the official confirmation on whether one touched down, but we had reports back in Rocky Ridge, which I believe is near the Sandusky and Ottawa County line, of windows being blown out of multiple houses there near Rocky Ridge. Again, that was likely 2 hours or so ago now. Time kind of runs together with that. So now we just got a report in Youngstown, all the way on the other side of the state, a 50 to 55 mile per hour wind. In fact, 54 mile per hour wind was just reported at Youngstown Airport. That's just being relayed to us here by the National Weather Service that just came across. So let me get some of the updated information that we've got coming out from that. Let me go back to that report. I just saw it cross. 50 mile per hour wind just reported in Akron. That came out just before about 30 minutes ago. That cell now moving through the Canton area at this time. And so we're likely getting this to transition now out of a tornado threat to a more of a wind damage threat. That's kind of what we've been watching here for a little while. We are watching the back edge of this, and perhaps if you're watching tonight, again in central Ohio, we may be beginning to see this line kind of reform a bit back this way, back to Toledo. So you're kind of seeing this is what we call a kind of a mesoscale convective complex. It had broken up a lot on the west side of this line for a while, but we're beginning to see this fill in a little bit. Now, the hope is, even if this does fill in, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be severe. It just could be noisy. And, of course, we had a noisy night last night in central Ohio. But let's put this into motion and kind of see how this has been kind of moving and progressing here as it pushes off to the southeast. And, again, so you have this main cluster. You've got this bowing out right here, coming through Youngstown, again, headed toward New Philadelphia, moving through Carrollton, just moving through Canton right now. This bowing line, this is where the most destructive winds are. Anytime you can get that to bow out like that, that pushes that air in advance of that. So this is where your destructive winds are going to be, and that's going to quickly head over toward Pittsburgh here, up through Hermitage and up into east of Youngstown. It's not as severe here because this is not pushing out. It's not bowing out right here at the moment. The bow is right here. Mesoscale convective complex. In fact, if you look closely here, you can almost see kind of this broad circulation right there that catch back up. And so this is what we call kind of a meso low. It's like a low pressure system. It's much smaller, kind of a meso low. And sometimes these form when you get these huge clusters of storms, especially this time of year. Admittedly, usually in June and July, not going into late August is when we see these. It's kind of unusual to get this late into August. Usually it's much calmer. But you get this mesoscale convective complex on the leading edge of that, right where the low is, and just south of that, that's where you get the most destructive winds. And that's where we still have seen winds, again, showing up on radar. They've been showing up on radar 80 to 90 miles per hour, but looking at some of the ground truth that we're getting in, it appears it's more to the 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, making it all the way to the ground. At least that's the latest. We did get some more significant wind back when this was back moving through Wayne County and Portage County. And then you see the line kind of breaks up. You get toward Mansfield. We're getting some lightning and thunder in Mansfield, getting more lightning strikes here. Kind of breaks up here toward Bucyrus and Wyandotte County, rather, west of Bucyrus. And then the clusters, and look at the lightning picking back up here just south of Toledo. And the question is this going to kind of drift southward and kind of come into central Ohio? And that's what some of the models are showing that this is what it is going to do. So, again, we are just after 1 a.m. It's 1:01. I'm Chief Meteorologist here, Rick Elwell. You're watching live coverage here on Spectrum News 1 for the second night in a row. We started out in northwestern Ohio just around 11 o'clock tonight. That's when all of the severe weather arrived in northwestern Ohio. We started out with tornado warnings that came out east of Toledo around Port Clinton. We're going to investigate potential damage around Port Clinton to Catawba Island, back through Oak Harbor, Rocky Ridge, where we had reports of windows being blown out of houses. A lot of times when you see that type of report, you start to think tornado threat with that. Then this cluster quickly moved right along Lake Erie, basically along the turnpike, and then we watched another line that came off of the lake right into Lakewood and Cleveland and Lorain, up through Euclid, prompted tornado warnings over downtown Cleveland. That was at around midnight. And then that line continued to push south and east of there And that leads us to where we are right now at coming up on 2 minutes, coming up on 3 minutes after 1 o'clock in the morning with what is left of this line here. We're going to continue here for about another 10, 12 minutes with our live expanded coverage, and then we're going to continue to follow it if any additional warnings that come out. I have this circled because that's where this complex of storms is at the moment. It's this leading edge where we have the strongest storms. So Mahoning County, Carroll County, eastern Trumbull County, and Ashtabula County being dropped off of the warnings down. So we're cleared in Ashtabula. There's still a lot of lightning and thunder. I've been watching our camera in Cleveland, and you see we've got light rain in the Cleveland area now, but there is a lot of lightning. In fact, light to moderate rain. And here's the other concern. If you recall what happened last night in Cleveland, we had a lot of rain that came through, and we've got this northwest wind now, 20, 25, 23 miles per hour, and we've got rain coming down on a ground that is already saturated here in northeastern Ohio, and it won't take much moisture, much rainfall to cause some flooding. So even though the severe threat has diminished in Cleveland, we're still watching lightning strikes, and we're still monitoring for some high water potential here, because we've still got at least a couple more hours, it appears, at least an hour, more of a moderate rainfall to fall here through downtown Cleveland. So what we did see just a little while ago, we did see some lightning strikes through that as well with this. So again, we'll continue to monitor that. I do want to go back, and I got a good explanation here of what we're seeing on radar. With the wind, one of the things that we've been watching, and again, this is, by the way, this is a look back at northwest Ohio, this cluster of thunderstorms here. This is another area we're keeping an eye on, Toledo down through Bowling Green to Findlay. Again, this is a newly developed cluster of thunderstorms, not severe, but it is an area that we're going to be watching. So let's go back here to the northeast, and one of the things we have been watching here around the Youngstown area is the wind speed, and let's go back over and look at the velocity with this. And we see just a tremendous amount of wind here that's blowing away from the radar site. And I just want to kind of highlight this here because the explanation that we're getting, oops, I just lost my radar. Let me go back to it here real quick, reload that back up. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, apologize there for the pause. My producer updating me on what's going on. We've just had a tremendous jump, and we expected this with the type of wind that we were seeing, of jumping to over 100,000 now without power in northern Ohio. That's a jump from 20,000 just a little while ago, now up over 100,000, and 55,000 of those just in Cuyahoga County alone. So you remember, at about midnight, we had tornado warnings and strong winds that came through, and a lot of lightning, and still have lightning in that area. And now we've had the power outages. That looks to have jumped significantly in the last little while, now over 100,000 without power. A reminder, if you were to lose power, you can always, if you have your Spectrum News app, watch us streaming live on your Spectrum News app. We will be streaming live updates throughout the night. Meteorologist Robin King is in here this morning, as well as Ashley Beatty. We're going to have multiple meteorologists kind of continue to keep an eye on this here as we head through the night tonight and update you on power outages. The severe threat should gradually diminish. The concern here as we head through the next really few hours is what's left with the rainfall and the amount of rain that we're seeing with this as well. With this particular cluster of thunderstorms. It's still yet to move by. And go back over to Live Radar because I want to read some more reports coming out here that we're getting in. Yeah, what we're seeing on the velocity, and I was showing the wind speed. Go back to originally what I was talking about, because we did get a lot of this very strong winds that we were seeing on radar. Now we're seeing that is likely elevated and not making it to the ground, and that would match up with a lot of the reports that we're getting. Because again, I show you all of this peach color that you're seeing here on radar, that between Youngstown and Canton. This is an indication. When we look at it first, we're like, holy cow, this is 80 to 90 mile an hour winds and a huge area. This is not making it to the ground, thankfully. Now, 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts with rain falling could make it to the ground, but at least this 80 to 90 mile an hour winds that we're detecting on radar is not making it to the ground. This is what we call a rear inflow jet. So winds kind of rushing into the storm, kind of feeding the storms as it moves by. It's aloft, but it's moving really quick. But that's what we're picking up on radar, and it's just feeding the storms out ahead of it. Because I'll tell you right now, this cell that's in coming into western Columbiana County, that is probably on radar 95 mile per hour winds up in the storm level. Hopefully that's not making it to the ground, and it appears from what the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh is telling us at the moment, that is likely aloft. They're not seeing it all the way down to the ground, at least at the time being. Still have warnings out for it, because as rain falls, sometimes as the rain falls, it can bring down at least some of that wind down to the ground, and that's the one thing that we're going to keep an eye on here as we head through the next little while. All right, I just want to go back on some of the information that we're getting in from the National Weather Service, just kind of reviewing. Again, yeah, we're getting a lot of 35 to 40 mile per hour winds that are being detected, despite that high wind speed being detected on radar. So latest report that we got in Highland Heights, again, we're still getting some pretty strong winds even into the Cleveland area at this point, being detected on radar, but again, not making it all the way down to the ground. Again, looking at some of the wind speeds, about 40 to 45 miles per hour from Stowe to Ravenna, eastern Cuyahoga County as well. That's the report that we're getting in, at least at the moment. So for those of you, your amateur meteorologists that may have some of the ways to detect winds on your apps, your radar apps on your phone, you're looking at it like, golly, that's 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Well, you got to look at it a little bit closer. That is not the wind that's making it all the way down to the ground. Still, some potent winds are, because we still have severe thunderstorm warnings that still continue in the Canton area as well here for the next little bit. Yeah, boy, even the Weather Service is pointing out now the power outage map that has jumped tremendously. The information that they're giving us as well. Now they're detecting over 100,000 without power. Severe thunderstorm warning about to expire here for Holmes, Mahoning, and Trumbull County. So that's about to move out. We're also going to get an expiration here soon for Wayne County as that cell moves by. We're going to continue here for a few more minutes, and then we're going to kind of catch our breath as well and continue to kind of get you caught up and change sources. But now 180,000. I'll confirm that with my producer. Now I'm getting a report of 180,000 without power. Now that just came across, 180,000. Most of that coming up in the Cleveland area. In fact, most of the power outages that I'm seeing are in Cuyahoga County, as well as in Geauga County, Portage County, and Lake County. And then all the way along the lake, all the way back from Erie County, Sandusky County, and Ottawa County, 180,000 without power. That is a tremendous jump from what we saw just a little while ago as we got more reports of those power outages coming in and just a lot of the wind that we've had coming across. So again, if you do lose power, you can always follow us on your Spectrum News app, streaming live there. Hopefully your devices have been charged. If the lightning has been waking you up, things are calming down for you in Cleveland, but you may not have power at this point. All right, thank you. Got about another 4.5 minutes here, and as we watch these thunderstorms continue to push through, again, a lot of the warnings are going to shift in. New Philadelphia down through Carrollton, through Harrison County, so we're talking over toward Jefferson, toward the Steubenville area here over the next hour. Some strong winds that are going to continue to push by. Again, we're still watching that cluster back in northwestern Ohio, just south of Toledo as well. We're going to monitor that. So far, not severe there, but I point that out if you've been watching us early this morning now with these thunderstorms that are moving through Wood County, Lucas County, Hancock County, back in northwestern Ohio. A lot of lightning with that right now. That's probably going to add eventually to our power outage map that we've got, but so far those are not severe. So we're slowly scaling back here on the number of warnings that we have out, but While we still have a couple of minutes, I do want to go back over on the warnings that we do have out. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings continuing here. Let's go over the newest warnings that we have, severe thunderstorm warnings here that include, some of these counties, by the way, are over in Pennsylvania, like Butler, Beaver, and Allegheny. But Columbiana and Jefferson County, those are in Ohio. Severe thunderstorm warnings there until 1:45 in the morning. And then we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are continuing here, still in the Canton area, here for just a bit longer, another 2 minutes or so. They are going to expire. Holmes County, Mahoning County, Stark, and Wayne County, those are going to expire. This line has broken up a little bit as it is pushed through the Worcester area and the Canton area. Still some gusty winds, a possibility as this moves to the south, but we are seeing a weakening trend on the back edge of this line. The strongest part of the line, by the way, is now into northwestern Pennsylvania. That's where the most intense part of this line is. Right now, it's this area here. I'll circle it. That's where the most intense part of this line is now, moving east of Youngstown. Still some pretty intense cells that are still back here as you get in toward Carroll County, near the Carrollton area, and then moving north of Steubenville up toward looks like the Salem area. Still some pretty intense thunderstorms. Unity area, although Salem seeing things decrease just a bit. A lot of heavy rain. Not a whole lot of lightning back left between New Philly and Canton right now, just some heavy rain. So that's why we're going to get this warning to drop off. You can see the live radar sweep there. Just some heavy rain at the moment, but really not a whole lot of lightning. There's a bit more lightning as you get back toward Fredericksburg, the Ripley area, Apple Creek. And then a pretty intense cell that's between Mount Gilead now in northern Morrow County. So we are getting into central Ohio now between Mount Gilead and Mansfield. Some lightning and thunder there. Perhaps if that's waking you up, not severe. We don't see anything that looks severe at the moment, just some heavy rain with that. Then it's kind of broken up between Upper Sandusky and Bucyrus, and then we pick back up with, again, that cluster of thunderstorms near Bowling Green. Pretty hefty thunderstorm here between Perrysburg, Clay Center, Woodville, Bowling Green. Again, that's whole line dropping here southeast, so we're going to have to watch this for a little while here tonight. I do expect the severe threat is diminishing here, but again, if you're watching in central Ohio, you're up this late, and you try to go to sleep in a couple of hours, you may be awakened by some more lightning and thunder. I know from personal experience, being here last night at this time, at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, that line of thunderstorms came through, and we just had wicked lightning. It was like a strobe light with that heavy rain. It was very noisy. I'm hoping not to see that repeat tonight. I don't think it will, but there is quite a bit of lightning back with that cluster of thunderstorms that's back near Bowling Green right now. And if that holds together, if this continues to develop, this will push this direction. It could come into the Columbus metro area, especially the north side, Delaware, Marion, later on here to the night in the early morning hours. And, of course, meteorologist Robin Carroll and Ashley Beatty will be monitoring those for you as well. Coming up on 15 minutes after 1 a.m., we are just about to end our extended coverage with this line of thunderstorms pushing by. We're still going to watch this line here as we head through the night, and if anything else develops, we will certainly come across and let you know of any additional warnings should they come in. Also, I invite you to keep an eye on the bottom of your screen as well. The tornado threat coming to an end, the severe weather threat also diminishing as well, but we're still going to be watching this cluster of thunderstorms here as we head through the night. Again, we'll keep you covered. Thank you for staying with us here on Spectrum News 1.